have that reduced to 450,000, which just means it stays the same as last year. The same thing with FICA, having that the same as last year, which cuts that by the requested amount of $50,000, which makes it $450,000. There is a line item for equipment for the Justice Center in $20,000. We got some clarification about the care of patients and inmates. That is an increase of $60,000. It looked like that was on par. Mental health, on the next page, on page 27, the mental health line item I have on here that the corrected amount is $157,269. Any questions on this budget?
In juvenile, looked like it jumped a million.
Yes, it did, and that was because we don't have a nearby facility, so they're taking them to Vincent's, and they're charging more. Any questions on this one? All right. Then we'll move on to page 28, the courthouse budget. I have on here for the utilities. The only thing I have on here is utilities, reducing that to $450,000 from $500,000 based on the current expenditures and still having efficient. Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, page 29. All right, I just have a couple notes from Economic Growth Partnership doing their presentation. It looks like at this point in time they had not come back to the commissioners to ask for the allocation of the $20,000 that they were given last year, so they still need to come in and do that. Any questions on this one?
You said have it done in 30 days or something.
Yes, they did say that. And commissioners, they requested 60. Are you going to remain at $50,000 with your investment?
I think that was the plan when it stayed the same.
Okay. Also, I do have a note about the paving line item that those bills will be coming out in September and October, so that while that line item is not spent at this point in time, it will be. Okay, page 30, Q funds. There's an increase in fairground expenses. Any questions on this one? Rondell, we're on page 30.
I have one.
Okay. We also got clarification on that detention and justice center expenditures, and that was general maintenance, seal coating for the parking lot, toilets, or if an inmate tears up a cell, so not on an as-needed basis. Okay, on page 31, I do have a note to lower that from $10,000 to $6,000. Michelle, I think you said that was when people have traffic fees. There's a fee associated with that traffic violation. Okay. Any questions on that one? 32, bond payment, it is what it is. 33, same thing, bond payment, $473,000. 34, any questions on Riverboat? Hearing none, we'll move on. All right, now on to Building Commission and Planning Commission. Just a reminder, we'll have Travis back tomorrow morning. There's a little bit of an increase in the Planning Commission attorney fee and then also raises. And now we're on page 36. This is for Building Commission. There is an addition of a staff member which I imagine that's a conversation we'll have with Travis tomorrow. And also there are raises put in here as well. Any comments or questions from Building Commission? Okay. All right, Superior Court. They are fully staffed. The total budget increase, the adjusted budget from changing the equipment line item from $24,000 to $40,000 is a total of $335,000, $464.90. So this was the IT equipment that Frank was talking about today. 40 and 40. Any questions? Okay. All right, this is the page 38. We're on circuit court. 10% raises are what was requested. Another item of consideration is that there are staff members in this department that are paid different, almost like a tiered system or two different pay scales, whereas in the other court system, they're all the same pay. So is that something that we want to address as a council, or do we want to leave these numbers the same? Are we going to do this all at the end?
I think there again, we just do the normal.
I'm hoping our line on that.
Yeah.
Across the board, so
Yeah.
that's my answer for all that.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah.
That's me.
He put in for 10% there too. On his raise.
And they'll get 40,000 added.
Yes, they have 40,000 added. All right. 39. This is community corrections. So these salaries are set by the state. Yep. Page 40 is the grant. Page 41. Myra said there's $3,000 in this fund right now. Page 42. The increase, let's see. She had taken out the alcohol and drug services line item and said that that will come out of user fees. Any questions on that one? Page 43. Juvenile probation, any questions on that one? All right, 44. Questions on home detention? 45, drug and alcohol testing, this is the urine screen. Any questions? There was an increase of $3,000 due to increased cost of testing. 46, which is Veterans Court, which were grants that now Myra has taken over. 47, alcohol and drug program. Currently there's $19,700 in the fund from user fees, and the requested budget is $50,000. And then page 48, Veterans Court DOC grant.
Just a matter of record,
Yes.
when you get to probation, she had a list last year, all the funds that are property tax or lit tax
Yes.
approved. And those are the ones you're going to concentrate on. Anything that's a user fee or a grant, they got to stay within the confines.
Yes.
So they're only going to spend.
What they have.
So you might question spending, but you're not going to probably change it so much.
Right.
So
All right, that's all for me. Ben, would you mind to lead public defender? I'm going to take a quick break.
page 49, Chief Public Defender, that was going up, of course, that's mandated by the state. I did have a question on the attorneys. They got hired in 22 as full-time employees, correct?
Yes.
And I see where their wages went from 43,724 to 90,000 something in 22. I read through that deal the other day, and I was told these got adjusted to be whatever was the fees that were requested for 23 by the state. But I also asked Mark the question today, are these, because I was under the impression these were mandated by law. And I thought the answer I got today was that even though they're reimbursed, they're not. Because the way they were set up was to be equal to your prosecuting office. But I'm looking here, they're already higher than the prosecuting office, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. So Bill, can you help us out on that one? Yeah, I'm watching it on.
I'm just angry.
Oh. So I'm gonna say this so I can keep moving. I'm gonna mark some question marks there, so we can check that out a little better on public defender.
Which one?
On there, I gotta read up tonight on this sheet from the state, what they're requesting. And he just done, I thought he said a 3%, or no, I marked that. Forget what it did say.
5% raises?
Yeah. See, they're at public defenders, we go to 94,000, and I think the prosecutors are under that.
Yes.
And I think, according to the money they asked for on that sheet, it just had to pass the prosecutors. That's a question I got. Auditors, can you help me out any?
On what it costs if you remain?
No.
On the attorneys in the office?
The attorneys in the office are supposed to be equivalent by the commission, Public Defender Commission. They want them to be equal to the assistant prosecutor.
Well,
You're 94 a year. I thought I seen 70 something on them.
well, your deputy prosecuting attorney that's not paid by the state that we pay for gets $77,701 out of one budget, but then gets $3,000 out of the child support budget, and then $15,000 out of the APSU budget. So,
95,701.
yeah.
So the question, okay, trying to think my way through that. So are they looking at their total pay or their deputy prosecuting pay? That's my question. Because the child, well, no, I'm thinking wrong. Let it go.
Yeah, I thought today they said that just the chief public defender has to be paid at the state rate, but nobody else.
The other, well, no,
But there's a balance there.
no, there's another deal online that changes that in 23. And I asked the question the other day, had these been adjusted to that 23 adjustment? And I was told yes. So basically, if they're 95, 94, they're on par. Is that correct?
That's what we think. I think we should get a bite of lunch and come back and talk about it.
I don't know I don't know of any no paper was given to me stating that the other attorneys in the office had to make a certain amount. I mean, I know about the probation officer's salary, I know about the sheriff. And
I just looked up Indianapolis. It shows here the salary range for a public defender, 49,714 to 62,376. That's in Indianapolis.
Important budget information from the Public Defender Commission. New salaries for chief, 165, 276. Part-time chief public defender, 100,982. Part-time 99, 166. Effective January 1, 2023. Part-time chief, 8181. Chief deputy, 74,000. Hourly rate for all attorneys. I must have been the only one that got the
Well,
memo.
I guess how you wanna, in what you just read, I look at it as, are those assistant chief public defenders? We're calling them attorneys.
I know, but the attorney pay, maybe I just need to, Bill, help me out here since you're on board.
Yeah, we got that 2 weeks ago, and it stated how they were to be paid by the state. I was trying to find it here. I don't remember it said anything about the prosecutor, that they had to match that pay.
It didn't. It just quotes all these prices and a per $100 per hour for your attorneys.
Right.
For your pauper attorneys.
Can we,
Yeah, Martin Clark come back in.
yeah. I went can we take a break and get a
Yep,
bite and then come back?
that sounds good. What time do y'all want to come back?
About 3.
Or
Where you going, Lowell? I had some hair.
355.
Yeah, we honestly don't have
We
enough,
don't have
but they're all very easy at date after this one.
2?
12:30, so,
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Okay, we'll come back at 2. All right.
What's your email address?
I was on public defender where I was.
oh, what's my email address?
Yeah. City Council?
T1 Council.
Was you asking Ben, I'm on page 49.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, look at that. I'm looking at Fender, that's where we stopped.
Yeah.
Carry tonight. What do you carry tonight? I do. The rain needs to be up east of you instead of west.
But the stories about these guys out west of town, they just love to play the tricks on people on this. Hey, you see that country that I've done to you, that one boy?
Whenever you are.
All right, right, we are going to reconvene. We are on page 49 for public defender. Okay, so where we're at with this, we're going to get additional information. I think Phil has asked Mark to come back tomorrow morning, so we get clarification on if we need to adjust these.
Yeah, what time is he gonna be here tomorrow?
9:30?
30 today.
Oh, 2:30 today? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Bauer just texted me asking if they needed to come back in. I'm like, well, that's, yes.
Okay.
So what time's he coming?
They said 2:30.
Yeah.
That's what it was
Oh, okay.
before we left.
I thought somebody said something different.
Well, yes, I thought it was tomorrow, because before I left, I had told you tomorrow morning. But that works.
He's got court tomorrow, I think.
Okay, that works. 2:30.
Well, let's get moving.
Let's keep moving, so, all right, that sounds good. All right, I'll say that one is wrapped up. We'll wait until we hear back from Mark. Let's go to statewide 911, page 50. This is EMA. Raises were in there. The FirstNet CAD line item increased due to the increase in vehicles, so it went from 17 to 22 vehicles. That includes officer plus pool car vehicles. Any questions on that one?
I don't have it.
Okay, 51. Any questions on emergency plan?
I think also,
Okay.
That was 2017.
All right, page 52, statewide 911, 3% raise. Nothing else changes. Any questions?
Not for me.
All right, done with that. On to cemetery, page 53.
you tell me.
Just an increase of $500. Any questions on this one? All right. Soil and water, they asked to raise they asked to change the pay of their staff member to a second deputy salary. And I don't know if that's a field office manager position or the technician.
Technician.
Okay, so that's the technician. So that was what they had asked for. And they do have the watershed coordinator position open. Any questions on this one? Okay.
Good.
Are you gonna raise the pay? The second deputy position?
I'm comfortable with that, but I'll ask you all what you think.
Oh,
Or,
is it the third deputy now?
yes.
Yeah.
This is the person, Todd and Rick, that does all the coordination out in the field with all the water deals, the waterways, the funding for farmers,
Yeah.
cover crop, all that stuff.
That's their primary duty, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a pretty busy situation, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, and we started out as third deputy with from what I can recall, knowing that we could change it to second deputy, but because this is going to be, we were trying to make the salaries in line with what we already have for our pay structure. Mhm.
So,
What's the general consensus? You all right with moving her to second deputy salary? So Michelle, she'll be moved to second deputy salary. Chris also mentioned that next year or the year after might need 20,000 for other staff. So that was the only other note I had.
Which would start out with a grant,
Yes,
federal grant.
yes. And then,
More into the same thing this week.
exactly, yes.
Yeah,
But I was very pleased to see that the return on investment with I think for every dollar we invest, they bring 50 to the community. Okay, next one is highway, page 55. Increase on the culverts due to material costs. Any questions on this budget?
No.
Okay. All right, page 56. Local road and street. Any questions on this one?
nope.
I'll be honest with you, that's pretty comfortable with all of this.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it. Okay, page 57.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, page 58, highway. He also has raises at 5%. Okay, page 59.
Yeah,
All right, looks like we are done on highway. Okay, page 60, drug-free community and shelter. Drug-free community remains the same. Next is EMS and Training Bureau. Did everyone feel like you had your questions answered today from Chelsea?
yeah, it was just some information she's still putting together.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go any further with hers until we can address this tomorrow.
That sound good with everyone else?
I'm good.
Okay. Also know that she has raises in there at 5%. As a reminder, from 2021, the insurance receipts were $966,550, and our supplement is $425.
Where you at right now?
63.
Let's back up 1 minute.
Yes,
Which one page on?
I am on 63, but I was just flipping through the ambulance budget.
Yeah. You guys are gonna give her, the board's gonna give her a sense of direction, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think we need to talk about, that's probably the only salary that we talked about it. But
Well, I'm not talking about salary.
You're talking about
How you're gonna present the budget at what rate? 2 vehicles, 3? Or maybe you wanna present it just what you got? I don't know.
I think there's gonna have to be some more discussion as far as presenting. That's my,
You do realize, I asked you guys to look about reverting funds, how they're controlled. We really need to look at that strong. I've been reading a lot of articles about reverting funds with ARP funds and all this. The only funds the council has control over is taxpayer dollars, okay? The only reason you have a say in that reverting fund, in my mind, is because we contribute 425 or whatever. Once it goes in there, it stays. The board presents the deal and you go from there. But waiting for us putting money in, we wouldn't be, just like the board for the park.
yes.
Like I said, when they come in, they fund themselves. The only funding we do down there is John's salary, right? That's it now, just his 47. So we control that. We really don't control the rest of it, according to what I read. But I'm not an attorney, and I don't know. And our attorney's not here, and I don't know who turned it.
That's a good point.
So anyway, we'll move on. Rick, will you guys have a decision by tomorrow on this deal? This, whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, kid.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the Training Bureau on page 63. Were there any questions about this? It is unchanged from last year.
No change.
All right, we're in the Health Department. Okay, the notes I have are that equipment, the account 22300 is cut from 4,500 to 2,000. The preparedness kits cut from $1,000 to $0. The official bonds and insurance, the 400 is cut to $0. Those are all of the changes that I have in the health budget. Okay.
What about the Burley control equipment, 37401? I thought she dropped that 500.
I don't remember.
I don't have that on my notes.
Which one?
37.
37401, the vector control equipment.
I know if I should.
I have 2,500 and have 3,000 marked out. Is that wrong?
Say I don't have anything.
You don't have anything?
I don't have anything either.
Okay.
Let's err on the side of caution with that one. Okay, any other?
I guess one, I see here where she raised, legal services up to 20.
Yes.
What did she use this year so far?
I'm not sure, but I know along with like plan commission, when you have the legal services, it's just as you have cases. And she
Yeah.
said they were doing more cases.
Yeah.
Let me see, she has spent $2,600 this year.
Yeah, she hadn't spent much.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll leave it 15 or I'll change it to 20.
That's a good point. Michelle, can you pull up a up-to-date number for legal services, account 33900?
Nothing I see. I had mine.
Keep moving along, we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Technical difficulty.
Okay. Good. All right, let's go to 66. Okay, that's local health for salary raises. Otherwise, no changes. I did ask questions about the personal health supplies and software upgrades and maintenance, and they gave that they did intend to spend some money, even though to date they had not spent any money out of that line item. Okay, 67, LHC Trust. Any questions on that one? All right, let's move on to the park. Page 68.
Since we don't fund that, I don't have any questions at all.
Okay. John had comments on any increase that was made. He had a justification as to why he was making those increases. Anyone else have questions on the parks budget? Okay. All right, we have completed our walkthrough the packet, so now we're waiting, once Michelle can get that number pulled up, we'll see what was spent today on legal services for the health department. I think it might be a, yeah.
So 15 minutes before we took lunch, we've been done.
We're not done. It's only beginning.
No, you don't understand. Here's the council, we're done, except for figuring out our earnings.
Yeah, I read this.
So, you could have went to lunch without us.
He told you, didn't he?
If you want to comment, comment.
He's holding it.
30 seconds.
Spent $3,907.
Okay, so they spent about $1,700 more Preston in the last 30 days.
Still,
You want to cut that down to, back to what it was?
I would, but Just my opinion.
Do y'all want to cut the legal services back to what it was for health department?
Kind of unknown, really.
Yeah, it is.
You want to leave it where it is, as requested?
I'd just say leave it alone, but they won't use it, so you don't think they'll use it, they don't push violations through.
I think 15 is plenty.
Okay, let's leave it as what it was last year, 15. Does that sound okay with everyone?
Yes. I agree, yes.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, Michelle, we have reduced that back to the 2022 adopted budget amount of 15,000 in legal services.
Okay.
All right, so that's it. At this point, I think it'd be helpful just to have a general conversation about raises and things that, what we might want to do. Michelle has been able to pull some numbers. You do have that in your inbox about the price or the cost of doing a 5% raise. One of the things I just wanted to set out on the table as we have this conversation is whatever decision we make in terms of the percentage salary increase for things that we are going to have to maintain going into the budget, each budget year after that. So I just encourage you to think long and hard about when we make decisions like that. It's going to affect us each and every year. And with that being said, I think it is important noting the high rate of inflation and for us to be considering alternative ways of compensating the employees in ways that might not tie our hands next year and the subsequent years. So with that being said, there are ARP funds. That's something I think we should take into consideration as we're making a decision on how we're going to compensate the staff during this trying economic time.
The ARP funds, does the council or the commissioners have to go to the committee and ask for that?
So at this point, we've appropriated those funds, and the ARP committee makes a recommendation to the commissioners, and then the commissioners approve how that money is spent. So that's a process right now. Let's put a pause in the conversation about raises. Something to think about. We'll have public defender go ahead and come up. Mark and Ryan.
Hang on just a minute. I got somebody else coming.
Okay. Let me pull that back up. Page 49, public defender.
Mark? You had to ask me a question. I couldn't answer it, so that's why I called you back in.
Okay.
Mark, there was an email, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, that the commission sent out here a couple weeks ago about proposed pay, because we talked about the $100. Are you familiar with that document?
Are you talking about the pauper fees?
No, it's one.
It's yours, this one right here, we just got from the state.
It's in your folder, Mark.
About the public defender changing pay scale. Did you get that email then?
I'm sure I got it.
This one right here, Sammy.
Okay. Well, so are you talking about the chief PD position, or are you talking about the hourly rate?
Well, I'm talking about the whole document,
Okay.
about the pay structure takes place in 23.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, there was a lot of, and I didn't read through maybe all of it, hoping you can help me, but your pay now for your public defenders is approximately $90,000 for this year. Is that correct?
For the line public defense, for the staff?
Yes.
Public defenders?
32 and 3.
this year? Probably. I guess.
Yeah, 90,072.
Yes.
Well, my
Okay,
question
right.
is, how does your salaries today compare to the request that I'm talking about was sent out to you all?
You're comparing apples and oranges.
Okay,
Okay.
that helps me out.
That's the first.
So now explain the orange.
Okay.
And then explain the apple.
The commission doesn't care about staff attorneys, other than they like to say they want the offices, if they would like the offices to have the same salaries as comparable deputy prosecutors, but there is no set amount. You negotiate those on your own,
Okay.
okay? So
Oh, you're talking if they're a staff
if they are a staff attorney,
versus,
right?
A pauper.
they're not.
No.
Versus the pop.
No, I said versus the.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I didn't hear versus the pauper, right? So we negotiate that amount. As compared to the other counties, yes, our two staff attorneys are paid well. Okay.
Okay.
We asked for 5%, but they're paid well. I won't deny that, okay? I can't tell you, are we higher, lower, middle? It's been too long since I've looked at any of that. But we traditionally have been a well-paid staff attorney, I will say that, okay? So,
If you compare it to Clark County, they're more than our least full-time, but they're less than somebody like me, who's been doing it a little longer and been full-time for a little longer. So, so they're pretty close to comparable to Clark. I can't.
So in our consideration on public defender pay, from a council perspective, we don't have to be concerned with that document that was presented to me.
not for attorneys to agree, that's
Yeah,
right.
there's nothing compelling you. We would encourage it, of course. We think they deserve it, but there's nothing that compels you to make it 94,000 for
That
those.
answers my question.
We would just, if offhand, I would just say the same thing as any other
Since
council.
they're full-time employees
Right.
now, there's no longer a contract.
That's correct. They're full-time county employees. So
Okay.
whatever you give the other county employees, I mean, I can see that being a starting point. They look at it, yeah. I mean, they're lawyers, they're higher educated and all that, but if you're just wanting to compare them to all the other county employees, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That answers my question about the orange and the apple.
Yeah, right.
You've done a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, that was easy.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I was saying, well, it's nicer than my last meeting in front of the judge. You just said avoid boys' school, that's not a good thing, sometimes it happens. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, so on page 49, I think it's probably good to go ahead and talk about this budget, since we have those questions answered.
Well, I'm gonna say the same as anybody else. County employees.
Just wait until we do the raises at the end.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I'm not fine where we're at, but Public Defender Board, they brought it to us, they agree with it, it's their proposal. So,
I say the same.
Yeah, I would say really, or aside from salary increases and the ancillary things that come along with that, there really are not any other additions to this. And I am happy that they've been making intentional choices to reduce the pauper fees. Okay, so as a reminder, the 2023 requested budget is $731,785, of which Mark estimated that we should get back $292,714, which leaves us a net of $439,791 that we've invested in public defender.
That's the way I understood it.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's go back to the conversation about employee compensation.
So we are saying those two attorneys just follow the county?
Yes.
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 Michelle, would you be able to pull up numbers on a 2% raise? You gave us 5%, can you also do a 2% for us? I know that won't be right now.
I can.
So some of the things I'd like for us to consider are making sure that we are, again, considering our staff during this economic time and also looking at the resources that we do have available. With ARP funds, it is eligible to provide a stipend. And so these are things that I wanted to bring up for discussion as we look at salary increases.
Is there an email sent out with the 5%?
Yes. So the title, the subject line says Finn's request salary increase, county general. And it's from Michelle. So the total, if the budget were exactly the same and not changed, and there were 5% salary increases, the total budget would be $11,958,896.
Say that again.
11,958,896.
And what's the estimated property tax and the estimated lit?
We haven't received the estimated lit yet,
Okay?
or I mean, I haven't got it yet.
You're supposed to have it by the end of this month. That's when you're supposed, so it ain't really due yet.
Right.
Normally, we'll get it out.
And we got the estimated property tax levy, but I haven't had time, we just got it Monday afternoon. So I haven't had time to really sit down with it.
Okay.
The numbers that Nancy provided, would that be helpful?
You know what?
The numbers that Nancy provided?
Well, that's what's gonna be collected next year, yeah.
Do you have this form with you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the stuff right there. What's the normal percentage of the property tax that goes to, anybody got 1782 from last year, for this year? Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll research that when we leave here,
Okay.
because I'll go in and pull the 1782
Okay.
from last year, and I'll pump it up a little bit, my estimate, and then I'll go back to last year's lit, pull up the certified for this year, and pull up the supplement, I'll play with those numbers
Okay.
to see where we're at.
That would be greatly appreciated.
I hope it comes up to $11,958 and or $80,896. But I think we're gonna be, I'm just gonna guess maybe a million short. Oh, that's what we went up. Unless somebody else wants to do that, maybe the auditor's office wants to do those guesstimates. You want to do that, Michelle, just, you will round up as well as I will.
Yeah. Yeah. A 2% on the lowest paid, a third deputy, would be $25 over 2 weeks.
We're raising the insurance $10 a month. $5 a pay. So that $25 is not $25.
What is,
The average is, according to the TV, that with inflation, wages have, purchasing powers dropped for almost 5% negative now. So even if we go up that 5%, we just brought back the par. And then if you take and impose more, like he's saying, then they're just saying,
yes.
here.
Commissioners, what are your thoughts on, would you have an appetite for looking at a stipend for the employees in addition to a salary increase?
Only if it's a sizable stipend. To do a stipend is a paperwork nightmare,
Yes.
especially if it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. No, it's a lot more than that. It's a different story, but it's a payroll. Well, okay.
I'm going to ask the obvious question. If your revenue does not match this number, you're going to pay the difference out of your sustainable fund. And the only thing you can do outside of that is raise taxes. Who's in favor of receding the sustainable fund by $1 million next year, if that's the case, versus trying to raise taxes?
Oh, between the two options, or just between two,
That's your two options.
or not? I said, or not, either.
I mean, we're all sat around here.
I have no interest in
Some weeks
raising,
ago,
I have no interest in raising taxes for my sake.
I don't have an appetite for raising taxes. The hope in my mind is that knowing what little I know about this, is that it's not gonna recede, and they're gonna free up. If they send out that thing, I tried to send, and I don't have to send it, just punch in Indiana policy, fiscal policy, and read the thing when it comes up, and it'll explain it better than I'm going to try to explain it. But then you'll have an understanding, and I tried to W11, Washington County, IN, and it never went. Here, home anywhere. So I asked if the auditor's office could send it out to you to read. But there may be some funds next year, if they change the floor from 15 to 11, 12, we may get a little boost to help offset what I'm talking about
Yes.
on the recession of funds. Okay. But I want everybody to read it, I want everybody to study it. I don't want you to take my word for anything. Oh, here's a deal for yourself. Not trying to be mean, but
My worry is that if they don't change it and we dip into sustainable funds, how long are we going to keep dipping?
5 years.
And what's the price of everything going to be next year with all this hyperinflation?
you have the same unknowns I had.
Yeah.
But we call